Large American online platforms have become seas of racism, misogyny, anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and hate in all its forms. And they're being used by criminals to harm our children. My government will act.
This was a campaign promise Mark Carney made last year, and guess what? He's keeping it. The Liberals are trying to fast-track Bill C-9. They want to have a discussion about banning social media for children under the age of 16. And the April upcoming by-elections could give Mark Carney the majority he's been dreaming of. This month is going to be an interesting one, to say the least. My name is Nico Lagan, and I'm too conservative for the conservatives. My co-host, Rob Ambrose, not woke enough for the Liberals. We are the Political Orphans. As you can see, my Liberal co-host is late, as usual. But we don't have any time to waste. This is absolutely insane. What happened last Friday is absolutely, absolutely crazy. I cannot believe that it is not... No, actually, let me rephrase that. I can easily believe that it is not mainstream everywhere, because obviously the left is not going to report on this. But what happened last Friday, the consequences of what happened last Friday, the meaning of what happened last Friday will leave a mark in Canadian history, if you ask me. I cannot... It blows my mind that once again the Conservative Party is not losing their mind over this, that they're not plastering their social media with disinformation, that they're not calling Carney and the Liberal Party for what they've done. But last Friday, the Liberal government has tabled actually put a motion, a paper motion, they call it a motion on notice paper, to speed Bill C-9, meaning that we're expecting it to be done tomorrow, to pass tomorrow, but this motion would fast-track Bill C-9, causing it. And Bill C-9, if you don't remember the numbers, Bill C-9 is the hate crime bill that's been debated in committee right now since, I think, November last year. Like, they've literally been going at it for 3-4 months, as they should. But now the Liberal government had enough, and they want to fast-track the bill. So before I explain what that actually means, because I had to research this, because this is something I've never really heard about before, and it's not good. It's really not good. So I don't know if you heard about that, but last Friday, our Liberal government decided they had enough of waiting for Bill C-9 and they want to fast track it. So.
I didn't. No. Everyone's, you know why? Because everyone's focused on Iran right now, right? No one's paying attention.
You know, as soon as Iran started, you know what I wondered? Are we ever going to hear about Epstein again?
No.
Are we ever going to hear about the file? Did you see how that just disappeared from the media? And you're absolutely right. I didn't consider this, but this is the perfect timing for the Liberals to say enough, because everybody's looking at Iran, which if we do have Iranian listeners, I apologize for what I'm going to say, but I don't give a fuck what's happening in Iran when our country here. No, but you know what I'm saying? When our country here, when our government is trying to censor us left, right, and center, take our guns away, and now they passed they tabled a notice paper motion. It's a very strange term. I've never heard of that before. But they're basically saying that they had enough waiting on the Justice Committee.
We've had enough democracy. Enough of this democracy stuff.
and you know, this is exactly it. What you're saying is absolutely true. They had enough of the debates. They had enough of waiting for their bill to not be passed, is basically what they're saying. And there's not a lot of articles that are actually talking about it. One of the only one that I could find that openly talks about this is iPolitics. And basically what they're saying is Liberals place motion on notice paper to speed up Bill C-9. If passed, it would require the committee to resume clause-by-clause consideration at its next meeting. Vote would be called on all amendments, and the meetings cannot end until the bill passes review. This is not very, it's hard to understand what it means, but I'll explain it afterwards, because I did not get what they say here. But what I wanted to to see some of the quotes that are in there. So you have a spokesperson. Don't you just love that? Not a spokesman or a spokewoman. A spokesperson for the minister said the motion was needed to pass an important bill that sought to strengthen protections for religious community. Lola Dendibiava, whatever the hell that name is,
there's no way you got that right.
No, said in an email that it's also necessary to allow the committee to turn its attention to other pieces of government legislation like Bill C-16. That's the
important
other
stuff.
bill that's been, no, but to remember Bill C, if you remember, Bill C-16 is the one that combats gender. So that's supposed to help against the gender violence out there, but being trans is actually protected under that bill. And guess what definition they need in Bill C-16? The definition of hate speech that is part of Bill C-9 that is now being fast-tracked. And they always use, we need to spend more time on important legislation like changing the criminal code and criminalizing emotions is not more important than protecting the little trans out there. They're basically saying here, every day the conservatives continue to obstruct, our communities are left waiting for stronger protections in the face of rising hate. As conservatives continue to obstruct, measures to help stop intimate partner violence before it turns deadly are delayed. And every day they continue to obstruct, measures to keep child predators behind bars are delayed, she said.
Rising hate. Like, come on, man. Like,
no, but rising hate, they always go child predators. It's fucking liberal. It's liberal judges that are letting them go.
Yeah.
Oh, he just had a small amount of child pornography on his laptop. Come on. He's an immigrant. We have to be lenient on those guys.
We don't want to ruin his immigration status because we want to make sure we get pedophiles in this country.
So they're basically using children once again to try to tell us that the conservatives are doing too much. Yet I don't think the conservatives are doing enough. They're talking about the religious aspect of things, but they're not addressing the definition of hate speech that is greater than disdain. That is the part in Bill C-9 that is absolutely problematic, and you're facing up to 10 years in prison for hurting somebody's feelings. That is what Bill C-9 is all about. So to explain what this motion on notice paper means is it sets a hard deadline for the Justice Committee. So once the motion passes, expect it tomorrow, because this motion was tabled on Friday, but the Bloc Québécois already said that they'd approve it as long as you remember this? They had made a deal a little while ago where the Bloc Québécois said to the Liberals, if you remove the good faith religion defense from the criminal code section 319, they would pass Bill C-9.
That's
but
wild.
it's been in committee. And
if they make the bill worse, or
if they make the criminal code worse, yes.
Yeah, because that exemption that the bloc requires, they want to make, basically they want to be able to take away the exemption for religious people, so that basically it makes religious people at higher risk of being charged with these things.
100%. So basically, whatever the Bible says,
worse. That's worse, right? So
100%.
Like,
and yes,
they're saying like,
we'll
only pass this bill if you make it worse, and it lives like, okay, fine, we'll make it worse.
But that's basically what the conservatives have not been fighting the part I think they should fight on. And I'm a Christian. I want my religious freedom to say what the Bible says as truth, and not look at 10 years in prison because there's somebody with little feelings that were hurt. The problem is, that's a problem, but the biggest problem that should concern every single Canadians out there, religious or not, is that they want to define hate speech in the criminal code as more than disdain. This is problematic. It means nothing. And they're, as Bruce Party said on this show, they want to criminalize emotions. Yet the conservatives are not talking about this. I've been beating that drum for fucking months now. Never do the conservative talk about it. But to go back to the explanation, it basically, and this is where it's really messed up, is it's expected to pass tomorrow. The motion's expected to pass because the bloc has already said that they would, as long as the liberals would remove that good faith religious defense, which that's what the conservatives have been fighting for. It would be removed because now they have all the votes they need to pass this. And by passing this motion, it gets out of committee. So they don't have the power anymore. Basically, what it means is that whenever they sit down next, they don't have a date yet. They need to vote on every single amendment of that bill that same day. Everything is done in a rush, one day. It means that every single remaining witness are canceled for that committee. They will not be able to speak about Bill C9 in committee. That means that all the experts that were supposed to come will all be canceled. So they are literally stopping debate. In committee, they're saying, nope, next time you guys sit down, you need to vote on the amendments the way that they are right now in one single marathon session. So if it lasts 20 hours, it lasts fucking 20 hours. And they're closing public, they're basically closing public debate. They're saying no more debate. We're done. This needs to pass. So the next step is literally the next day. The next day they meet, which I don't have a date. I looked for it. There's none yet. But the next time they meet in committee, that bill needs to be voted on. Then there's a report that's being given to the House of Commons. And the House of Commons will have 1 day to review and debate that bill. The next time they talk about it in Parliament, it's 100%. Bill C9 is a reality. It's not a reality yet, but it will become a reality within the next few weeks, unless something major happens.
He wouldn't do it if he didn't know it could pass. He's got it all. He's got it mapped out. Like, he's not just throwing a Hail Mary out there. If they're doing this, it's going to pass.
No,
it's funny. It'd be interesting to see how many, for someone who studies like global politics, how many Western countries are going to try to sneak some bill through in this, this 2-week block, maybe starting a week ago for the next couple of weeks. Everyone knowing, oh shit, everyone's distracted with Iran. Quick, let's pass all the junk we've had on docket there for a while.
That is very, very well said, because I didn't even think about the Iran
I bet you
stuff.
You're going to see it. I think you're going to see it. You're going to see.
I think you're bang on.
Yeah.
I think this is exactly why they're doing it right now, because they know they can get away with it because people are not paying attention. So that's why I'm going to beat that fucking drum. But, also, I reached out to a few lawyers, friend of the show.
Redheaded stepchild.
Yep, 100. You do know that my son's a redhead, right?
But he's your actual son, so it's only redheaded children that get the beatings.
But all to say, man, I reached out to some of our lawyers, friend of the show, to have somebody come here to speak about
Bruce
it.
Party
so I'm gonna.
Great. I know he's a busy man.
I reached out to Bruce Party and I reached out to John Carpe, obviously, but I reached out to both of them.
Both of them.
But all to say, man, this would literally mean that basically, this is going to be signed tomorrow. The paper motion, I have to remember what it's called because I've never heard of one of those motions before. Motion on notice paper to speed up Bill C9. This should be passed tomorrow because the Bloc Québécois already said they would pass it. And the next time the Justice Committee sits down for Bill C9, they will have to vote on everything that same day. So basically, it will be out of committee, meaning technically it could not pass committee, right? And the report would say, we don't take it. Chances are it ain't going to happen because the Conservatives are the only one talking against this bill. So it's going to pass committee. So the motion's going to pass tomorrow. The committee is going to pass that bill next time they sit down. And then it's going to go back to the House of Commons for debate and vote on the same day, and you know that's gonna pass. If you look at what's happening right now, everything's interconnected. You know, I've been saying for months that they can't pass a big fuck you bill because everybody would notice. That's why they're trimming it into different bills so that nobody's paying attention. But we did not have Iran going on. Now we have something. You're bang on, bro. I can't believe that I did not think about this as I was getting prepared for the show. They are gonna pass all those dumb fucking bills right now during the war in Iran.
Yeah.
The Epstein file just disappeared. Nobody's talking about Epstein anymore. And then Canada's going to become a censored country over the war, like using the war in Iran as deflection. People are not going to pay attention and they're just going to disappear. Because it's absolutely insane.
It's all the media's talking about right now. Because it's got everything. It's got a chance to bash Trump. You know, it's got a chance for the Trump supporters to support Trump. And really, Trump is at the center of the global news cycle. And then you've got all these, you know, bills and laws being passed behind the scenes and no one's paying attention. Like I said, I wouldn't be shocked if Britain and Australia and Germany and France try to put their own versions of whatever shitty bills they have on the dock.
But they're way ahead. But they're way ahead of us.
Oh no!
Those bills are already all passed in there.
But I'm sure they have the next batch of shitty bills somewhere too. I feel like they always have a shitty bill on the table just for this kind of moment. You know, oh shit, this is one of those news cycles. Fucking, you know, put in the shit.
You know, this is where to me things get very, very evil. You either believe two things. You either believe Iran just happened. It's people, Trump is trying to help Iran, the people there, and he has his own motives. Or you're like me, you believe that this is happening on purpose because they needed something to take the attention away from the Epstein file. Because I don't know if you saw, some people were starting to fall. You're starting to see, like, the WEF president, bye-bye. You're talking about one of the prince in Wales, bye-bye. Like, people are starting to get questioned. They're starting to get arrested. It's starting to get bad for people. And I don't know if you saw that, but they even voted in Congress in the US to not release all of the files. That there's some things that they did not want to release. And funny enough, people on both sides voted in favor of that. You know, when everybody votes for the same thing,
very bipartisan. Very bipartisan.
You know, there's a problem. They're all fucked.
Yeah. And I, you know, I think that I think it's. I don't necessarily think the war was done.
Okay. Hold on. Let me finish my point before you go, because this is where I was going with this. So you can have somebody that's more like you to see there's a war and they're going to use it to their advantage, but they didn't plan for it.
Waiting for these moments.
I'm more of a, we need a moment, so let's make what happen. They already have places in the world that they know is problematic. They just need to do something. The point is that you don't need to believe that it was planned. Just like you know that they had bad intentions from the get-go, that they were sitting, waiting.
They knew something was gonna happen.
Exactly. So no matter if you're like me on the deep end to say, this was planned, this was planned, this was planned, or you're like you're just like, they were waiting, waiting. No matter what it is,
we agree.
No matter what, they're trying to fuck us. And that's exactly what's going to happen, because don't be surprised that by the end of March, this bill is a reality. This bill has been passed. It's been through committee. It's been through Parliament. It's been through the House of Commons. It's been through the Senate, and it's law. That I can literally be arrested for up to 10 years in prison for hurting somebody's feelings. And considering the type of shit I say every day, I could stop talking today. I could stop talking. I'm screwed already. I'm already screwed.
This show is going to be at the vanguard of that, right? If and when they start making arrests for that, you know, that we're going to be all over that shit. So maybe we'll be the first targets. You know, maybe we'll be among the first targets.
There's a lot of good targets. There's a lot of good targets in Canada. We're not going to be alone. That's for damn sure.
It'll be interesting to see who has the balls to do it once there's real skin in the game, right? Once you can actually get arrested.
You know, bro, I'm never going to stop. Oh,
It's not going to bother
100%.
me. I don't give a shit.
No.
But there are some that will. There are definitely some that will.
Oh, I guarantee you that the Mario Zelaya, the Mark Nixon, the Jasmine Lane are all going to readjust their aim.
Probably.
They're going to become liberals, not just liberal lights. They're going to become liberal.
Yeah. Well,
I will not. And I know I've had that conversation. I can tell you I've had a very interesting conversation with Mia Hughes behind closed doors, and there's something that she's being targeted with. I don't want to talk about it too much because I'm not, like, I don't know all the details. I don't want to say something that's incorrect. But all to say that she could be, like, imagine what she does. She talks against trans day in, day out.
Oh, yeah.
And she does it very intelligently. But she'd be a perfect first target because she's very smart. She would make an
She would love
awesome.
it. So, you know, she'll represent herself in court and just fucking.
No, she wouldn't. All I can tell you is that she's already thinking about it, about what's going to happen. And there's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of us. And funny enough, one of the things that this show has brought me is a lot of connections with constitutional lawyers. So I know that if I'm one of those that are targeted, I know who to call. I know who to get in touch with. And they're very good at what they do. I hope I'm not the one that's targeted, but if I am, it is what it is. It is what it is, man.
I got a veteran's pension. That's my source of income. I'll collect that from inside jail. I don't give a shit. Fucking send me away. And they'll probably take that too, but whatever.
Oh, of course they would. But you won't be alone. One thing's for sure is that whatever happens, we're not going to be alone. On that note, it continues, man. All the three topics I want to talk about today are all interconnected, and it's really problematic. So before we do, we need to talk about our sponsor. This episode's brought to you by Miss Kleos Pet Treats. 100% healthy dog treats made right here in Canada by hand. She sources all the meat in Manitoba. Everything's local. My dog is very annoying. I gotta say, man, she's very annoying. Now she gives me attitude because I don't give her enough. But if you believe that your pet deserves better than that nasty Chinese crap you find at Walmart, go to CleoCookiesTreats.ca. Kleos Cookies N Treats.ca. We have a discount code that is worth 20% off your entire purchase. Just look in the description below. It's Political Orphans. But I'm telling you, I tried them. There's some there's some
high-end dog food looks fucking good, man.
I got bison, venison. I think she eats
better than you.
It's better. It's beef jerky. Like she gave me a bunch of bags with beef jerky in it, and she had a few bags that were dehydrated apples and dehydrated sweet potatoes. And I was giving the apples I was giving it to my dog, and she didn't want them. I'm like, what, are they that bad? I just ate one. They're literally dehydrated.
It's just
apples. There's not.
Apples. I got you.
But there's nothing else. Like, she uses no preservatives. There's no hormones. Wow. Everything is sourced locally. She makes them by hand at home. Yet she has customers all over North America. Like, she's great, and she's very conservative. All I'm gonna say, if she likes this show, obviously she's very conservative. You're not the problem on this show, right?
Yeah.
Let's be honest here.
That's right.
Now, so we're talking about fast tracking Bill C9. The motion will probably pass tomorrow or Tuesday. Whenever they're going back and they talk about it, it's going to pass. It's expected to be done tomorrow or by the end of the week. 100% it will be passed this week. No questions about it. There's another announcement that was made on Friday. Friday was a very busy day for Canada, yet we weren't paying attention because Mark Carney said this. Let me bring up a little article right here, because they're talking about it, but they're not really talking about it either. But here's an article by CTV News that is reporting that social media ban for kids under consideration in online harms bill. Carney. So there's two things right in this title. There's 12 words in there maybe that we need to look at. Social media ban for kids under consideration. Basically the same thing that is happening in Australia. Mark Carney was in Australia this week. And funny enough, he comes back with the idea saying that we need to discuss this. And listen to this. In online harms bill. That is Bill C-63, bro. It hasn't been retabled yet, but they're talking about it. So you know it's coming. you know that if Bill C9 is actually passed the way it will be passed, Bill C63 is right behind. You're going to have Bill C9, Bill C16, and Bill C63 that's going to be passed. And basically, here is what he's saying. While there should be debates in Canada about a social media ban for children, Prime Minister Mark Carney said he has not made up his own mind on the issue yet. Yeah, bull fucking shit. I think this is something that merits an open and considered debate in Canada, he told reporters in Tokyo, while he's preventing debates for Bill C9. So we need to have a debate talking about banning kids under 16 from social media, but we don't have debates about our freedom of speech or what hate speech actually is. Do you see the idiot? He really thinks we're fucking morons. Absolutely moronic. But I want to put it in perspective for people, because most people, hold on, let me rephrase that. There's a lot of people out there that are like, oh, but children should not be on social media. Children 16 and younger shouldn't be on social media. You know what? Okay, cool. I'm a parent. My son's very young, but he's not going to be on social media. I can tell you that. The problem is that the beauty is that I don't want the government to tell me what my son can and cannot do. I don't want the government to tell me what I can and cannot do. I'm the parent here. Yeah. If you don't think your kids should be on social media and you're a parent, guess what? That's your responsibility to protect your children from social media. And don't tell me that's not possible. I know dozens of families in this day and age that their kids are not on social media. They're just not. They're not on social media whatsoever. It is not the job of the government to do that for you. And the problem, and here's where the average individual does not realize what it means. I come from the telecommunication world. I understand what needs to be put in place in order to put those bans on. And if that ban goes through, that means that every single Canadian will have to provide a government-approved ID that they will need to attach to every single social media account that they have out there. I'm verified on every single platform, so I had to show those credentials in order for the social media to say, yes, this dude looks like this is that guy. But I took that choice. I made that choice as somebody that creates content for a living every day. I knew that this was a requirement. I get it. I made that choice. But that means that every single person out there will have to prove that they're not 15 in order to go online. And that's why they're very smart in what they're doing. They're using the children to say, let's protect the children. But people don't understand that you will need to prove who you are. Imagine that Bill C9 passes, which it will. That means that they will be able to track every single comment that you make online. If you make a comment that is greater than disdain, you could receive the visit of the police, just like 13,000 people do in the UK every year right now. You can have a visit of some woke fucking police to tell you that your post on Facebook, on Instagram, on X was wrong. And you could end up facing 10 years in prison. And those complaints are done behind closed doors. You will never meet your attacker. So, and there's no date limit. There's no limits.
I got something to say
on about how back. Oh, of course you can. I hope you have something to say about this. God damn.
Yeah. So I think, for me, it took me, I really had to think about this, because I don't think kids should be on social media, right? I've got a kid, 17. I see how harmful it is to them. But then on the other hand, this idea of bans, I'm sort of naturally against that, just on instinct. So it's tricky for me. I don't think I wouldn't support make it illegal. I don't think you need to do that. I don't think you need a ban. And I think maybe if they could do it in a way that doesn't sort of infringe on, that, for example, to demand every adult shows ID. If you could do it in a way that didn't require that, I might be open to it. But you can't, right? You can't. So I definitely would oppose the bill, but I would support something like an extremely strong guidance from, say, Health Canada, saying it is the opinion of the federal government of Canada that absolutely no kid should be on social media by 16. And I actually think that would have a real effect, because then it would empower parents, right? Because there's a lot of people out there who are just sheep. They need something. It's ridiculous, right? Like, but it's reality. There's a large chunk of them that would require some sort of, they need someone in authority to tell them to do something. And if they have that, they will do it. And that is a large number of society. And it's ridiculous that those people exist, but they do. And I think just by having some sort of non-legal binding, just a recommendation or a guidance that children under 16 should not be on social media, I think you'd get a lot of the way there. You don't need a law to do it. And the negative externalities of making it a law, right, infringing on everyone else's rights, I think tip the scales in that the law route is a bad idea.
So let's make it more ridiculous, and then I'll tell you what the next step is, why I'm against this. So I was having this conversation with my wife, because it's my wife 2 days ago or yesterday, we were going somewhere, I can't remember where, and she mentioned it. She's like, hey, did you hear about the fast track for Bill C-9? I'm like, oh, motherfucker, what are you talking about? And then I started looking, and then I fell onto this social media ban, and I was talking about it with her earlier, and I'm just saying, I'm just blowing my gasket like I do on the show here. I'm no different in real life, guys. What you see here is basically me. I'm just a fucking hothead that blows his gasket all the time, that can't believe what the fuck's going on. But I was having this conversation with my wife, and she looks at me. She's like, you know what's funny about this is that 16-year-olds, 15, 14-year-olds right now, they can chop off their penises, they can chop off their breasts, they can take all the drugs that they want in order to stop puberty, but you can't do social media. And I'm like, motherfucker, you're absolutely right. But this is how ridiculous this is. This is how absolutely ridiculous this is. And this is how lazy parents have become. It's on you, motherfucker, to maintain what your child is doing online. Guess who's paying for the fucking cell phone? You. There's an application called Net Nanny that's been around for 30 years. 30 years, if not more. It's been there since the beginning of the internet, because we know the internet was developed for porn. I don't care what you say. This is what the internet was used for at the beginning, and even to this day, a vast majority of a vast amount of the traffic goes to porn sites. But parents need to take responsibilities for what their children do online. Net Nanny is not an expensive one. You can install that on every single piece of device that goes online to monitor and block what they do. It's really not complicated. But here is where this is going. This is a digital ID. This is the vast introduction to a digital ID. We can argue that it already exists because you already have an online signature, if you will. Like, enough people have put their information out there. They take pictures, they link their account, their banking account with their social media. So they're trackable very easily.
Yep.
But now we're confirming all of that information. We're saying there's no more doubts. It's my name online is this. This is my government approved ID that is attached to this. Now Bill C-9 becomes a reality. AI allows to look at every single piece of content that's out there, stores them in a server somewhere, and if one day you do something that the government doesn't like, they go back and they look at everything that you've said online. They're not going to flag every single person at once. They're going to wait. They're going to wait till you do something that they really don't like when they need to crush dissent. Remember what happened during the trucker convoy. There's a good reason why they started freezing bank accounts. They could have done that from the get-go. They just chose not to, but they made an example out of it. How many times have we said that the process is often the punishment? You only need to do that to a few people, and the vast majority of Canadians are either going to blow a gasket and start a revolt, or they're simply going to sit down like what you're seeing in the UK right now, and people are just going to start monitoring what they say because they know that the government can look at everything that they say. But it gets worse because it's going to
be AI, because it's going to be everything. Everything's going to be looked at instantly.
AI enables that type of technology because for years, I've dealt with companies in the past that sold certain type of software for border crossing, for example. I can't talk too much about it, but all I'm going to say is that they would monitor border crossing. The problem is that humans could not keep track of all that information. It was too much information to make sense of it. You really have too much.
And
But
that's
the
what AI
NSA
does.
has been
That's what AI
but the
does.
NSA has been recording since the Patriot Act, what, 2001, 2002 that it was passed in the US. They've been storing every single piece of content that goes through the US has been duplicated and stored on an NSA server somewhere in the US. That is a known fact. In my field, we've known that for 20 years. Since the Patriot Act passed, we knew this. Now AI allows you to make sense of that information, to say, here's the guy I'm looking for. Find me a word, hey, find me a word, this. Beep. Review all of his history. Tell me how many times he's said this, where he said it. Show me the post. I do that every day with AI. I use AI to confirm some of the research that I do, or to look for exact information I'm looking for. This is what AI does extremely well. And this type of
they'll have the technology to do that. I don't know that
we have the technology now.
Back, though, I think it'll be more like
once the bills
pass. Well, then they'd arrest everybody. Then they'd have to arrest everybody, because everybody has said something online. That
they will use it against you when they need it. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
they're not. They can't arrest everybody.
Okay.
If you cause enough trouble, how do you think those bipartisan bills are passed? This is exactly what happened. They framed you. They blackmailed you a long time ago. Those bills don't pass because you were blackmailed yesterday. You've been blackmailed for a while, and you've been tiptoeing a line. You're like, one day I know that's going to come back and bite me in the ass. This is exactly the same situation. You're going to have a lot of people out there, like you said, the vast majority of people have said something online that could be considered hateful. And if you rock the boat too much, guess what? They can go back as far as they want and make sense of that information, because AI is there to do the fucking dirty work.
Well, there's
and this is what we're looking at right now. And you look at softwares like Palantir in the US.
I was just going to say.
And people, Palantir was the biggest campaign donor to J.D. Vance, the vice president of the U.S. Just saying.
Yeah, there's a lot of sinister stuff coming out about AI in the last really week. And actually, Palantir is kind of at the front of that. They were talking. I saw this speech given by their CEO. It wasn't Peter Thiel, but it was the other guy. And it was quite sinister. And what was sinister was that I think he feels he can drop the mask a little bit now. Like, his speech was something like, we used to say data collection. He's like, the truth is, it's surveillance. It's always been surveillance, and we just we don't have to. I'm not even going to we don't have to sugarcoat it anymore. So there was this sense of like the mask slipping a little bit. But he was saying, because remember there was a kerfuffle with it was Anthropic was saying, no, we're not going to give we're not going to work with the U.S. military. They're saying we're not going to work with the Department of War. They're not going to have access to our technology. Sort of a classic, almost libertarian view, which might, perhaps is admirable, because I think they realize that what can, governments and militaries can do with that kind of technology. They said, no, not going to do it. So the government, basically Department of War just said, okay, we're not going to give you any contracts. And they immediately gave the same contract to one of the other companies. I think it's AI, whatever, the one that does ChatGPT. I don't know. But there's like 3 or 4.
OpenAI.
It was OpenAI. And basically that's almost a kiss of death for Anthropic. Not that it will die or anything. It will survive, whatever. But basically these companies can't live without massive government contracts, and to cut them out of all government contracts, you are essentially signing their death warrant. So of course Anthropic is now basically, okay, I guess we will work with the military after all. So and the Palantir CEO was talking about this in a speech. He was saying, look at what happened. He's like, basically every AI company is going to fall in line, and the ones that do cooperate with the government first will become the wealthy rich ones. The one that cooperate last will be bought out by the few rich ones that went first. And this is the future of AI that he envisions. It was very dystopian, very dark. So there's definitely some warning flags already about what AI is going to be used for, I think.
Already being used for. They're just being honest right now. They're just talking about it openly because it's a matter of time. It's not.
Yeah,
They can't
there's a
stop it.
sense of the mask slipping that he's like, we don't even have to pretend anymore, which
No,
is in
they
itself quite sinister.
So you got Bill C9 that defines hate. You got Bill C16 that needs Bill C9's definition of hate in order to protect the transies. And then you have Mark Carney that said that Bill C63, the Online Harms Act, is coming back, and we need to have a discussion as to who are we banning on social media. And once they start banning people on social media, the mechanism is there. It's put in place to change that variable from below 16 to Nico Lagan. I don't like that guy. It's very fucking easy. Once the mechanism are put in place, very easy to ban whoever they want. But if you remember last week, or even this week and last week, our AI minister was meeting with OpenAI about what happened in Tumbler Ridge. And now they're talking. I ripped into Mario Zelaya. He had to respond to me because my comment got so much attention on his post. But he was saying that the OpenAI president needs to apologize for what they did. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, asshole? Absolutely not. They don't. They did nothing wrong. Oh, they didn't say it. It's not their prerogative to say what their user are saying, especially considering that the government and the RCMP knew exactly what that guy was, the shooter was, back in 2023 when they first put him under observation under the BC Health Act. So don't give me this shit. Like, I don't want, and I didn't call him an asshole. I'm just being pissed off because I can't believe what's going on right now, and people are arguing that we need to give that control to the government. I don't understand. You got guys like him that are conservatives, supposedly conservative, that are saying that he needs to apologize. So what's next? You agree that the government, if he's apologizing, that means he agrees that he's done something wrong. What did he do wrong? Not tell the RCMP and the government about that kid, about that 18-year-old that got his account banned. They already knew who he was because they seized the guns in 2024. Because of him, they seized his mother's gun. And then the year prior to that, he was put under observation under the BC Health Act. They knew who that guy was. So if you think that he owes apologies to the people, that means that you need them to have a framework as to what they need to report. You're opening up that door to backdoor deals to say, oh, if you see this type of comment on your platform, you're going to need to tell us. What does that mean if Bill C9 is passed by the end of the month, like it probably will? That means anything that's considered a hate, you need to let me know. That's what it means. That's what people don't understand. Now you got the guy from Palantir that's literally saying, if you don't make deals with the government, you're not going to make money. So you're basically saying that OpenAI is going to make a deal with the government in order to spy on us.
They're going to have to.
Do you understand that those are all happening at the same fucking time? And people are just like, oh, yeah, we need to do this. Have you not... Like, what is it going to take for the people out there to awaken to what's going on? Because it gets worse, man. Do you know that Carney announced 3 by-elections on April 13th? You heard that? He announced this today.
No,
there's going to be 3 by-elections. So Christia Freeland's riding of the University Rosedale, because she left, so the riding University Rosedale is up for by-election. The Scarborough Southwest for Bill Blair is also up for by-election. And remember, Terrebonne, right here, super close to where I am right now, they're up for by-election because the Supreme Court decided that Election Canada made a mistake. That woman had complained that her vote didn't count because they won by 1 vote. I looked at the numbers earlier. The riding in Terrebonne was won by 1 vote. 23,352 votes to 23,351 votes. And it turned out that 40 letters with the wrong postal code given by Election Canada to voters were sent out and then denied to be delivered because the postal code was wrong. And then Election Canada didn't apologize. They just said, fuck you, this is the result, we're sticking to it. But the Supreme Court said, no, there's going to be a by-election. So there's going to be 3 by-election on April 13th. 2 out of the 3 are liberal stronghold. It's not going to happen. It's been won by liberals for decades now. So it's not going to go anywhere. It's in fucking Toronto. It ain't going to go conservative. The one here in Quebec, there's a chance it could go either way if you believe in elections. I don't, but let's say you do. If they do win that one, majority 172. Carney gets, because now he had 2 people walk from the conservative to the liberals.
They're gonna win.
If he wins, 100%. Air quoting, if he wins, he has 172, so he doesn't even need to make deals anymore. And he's bull rushing that. We're the 8th. He announced this today on April 13th. So not even 5 weeks in order for a by-election. Who can you really run a campaign? Who can really run a campaign in 5 weeks? So this is what we're seeing right now. Oh, of course.
Yeah,
they're going to win.
Yeah, it's perfunctory. Just want to call out this comment from Jason. He says, "Man, y'all got some trouble over there, holy smokes, but we haven't seen you in a while, brother. Good to see you. It's Jason, our old buddy."
Oh, Mr. Jason, what's going on, bro?
Yeah, what's up, brother? Friend of the show, Jason. Good to see you.
Yeah, it's not looking good for. It's really not looking good for Canada. We're talking fast tracking the hate speech bill. So probably that within the next month, I say within the end of the month, Bill C9 is a reality. Bill C16 is coming right after, and Bill C63 is going to be retabled. By then, the Liberals are going to have their majority, so they're just going to fast track Bill C63. Bill C16, Bill C63 is going to be fast tracked. And as part of Bill C63, we're going to have a ban for children under 16. We're finally going to see that real digital ID be implemented in Canada. That's the reality we're seeing right here in Canada. And I got to tell you, man, I've had conversations with my wife. My wife is getting scared for what's going to happen to me. Yeah. Because I'm not going to stop. I'm hard-headed. I'm stupid enough that I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. But I fully understand that this is problematic, man. Canada is not looking good. We're really looking. I hope you really start considering the fact that you might get arrested within the next end of the year. For all you know, you're in prison. This is the reality.
Yeah. I mean, and if it's just you and not me, then I'll just I'll get to take the show in my own direction for a while. So that'll be a silver lining. So
it's gonna. It's going to become gay. A gay show. Gay. Jesus.
Hey!
But it's going to be, all kidding aside, this year's not going to be good, man. I knew 2026 would be something for Canada. But, man, it's a reality. Like, it's a massive reality check.
Yes, yeah.
Last Friday was really a big deal. And what you said is bang on. What you said is absolutely right, that they're going to use Iran in order to shove those bills through. I fully agree with you.
No one's looking, right? Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, right? Or what's another analogy? The magician, keep your focus over here so you don't see what he's doing over here. I mean, it's classic, classic junk democracy, right? And governments, they love doing that shit. But yeah, it'll be super fascinating from at least a morbid perspective to see how this actually gets enforced, because I think it's a given that the bill is going to pass. So now it's how are they going to enforce it? So are we going to start seeing videos like you do in the UK of 4 or 5 cops banging on someone's door at 3 a.m.?
They will
bring them down to the station for 12 hours. It's gonna be we're gonna see one way or the other. It's gonna be fascinating, I think. But yeah, it won't stop me. If you want to throw me in jail for saying that you shouldn't put male rapists in female prisons, or that women don't have penises, I'll take that any day. I got no problems as long as I get my hour in the prison gym. I'm happy.
Oh, you'll be worked out all right. The big boys are gonna like you there.
No, fuck that shit. I won't wear my pink shirt probably. That might
Fuck
attract
that
the
shit.
wrong.
No,
Might
fuck
attract
your
the,
shit is what they're gonna
yeah.
do. Fuck your
What's that?
shit.
What's that movie? Training Day. You ever had your shit pushed in?
I've had my shit pushed
Yeah,
in. Yeah, it's
pushed in.
it's
my-
shit. It's with Denzel Washington. It's
yeah, Denzel Washington, Ethan Hawke.
Oh man, that is such a great movie.
Yeah, it is. The guy who says that, he's Tuco from Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
the guy
it's
who's
not.
like, "Yeah, pushed in," but yeah, that's
oh damn.
that's an intense scene though, because
Yeah.
everyone knows the vibe shifted in that second to like shit got real dark. Now he realizes because he thinks the dirty cop's gonna come
Yeah,
back. and
Training
save him.
Day.
Training Day.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
that's right.
Apostle Paul. It is Training Day.
Yeah,
But you know, with all the crap that's going on right now, I wanted to show something. I've been working on this for a few days. You know, the gun grab, what's going on right now, something that we talk about heavily on this show, and we're going to talk about it again tomorrow because I lined up another very cool guest for tomorrow. I'm going to tell you what it is in a second. But I've been working on what a tracker. So I put a website, I built a website, I built all the script in order to pull information that I've been provided, as in who is not going to enforce the gun grab right now. So I went literally from all the information I could find that was provided to me by the CCFR, my research. I built the tool that you see right here. So there's, as you see, it's Canada, obviously. I built a bunch of map layers. It shows all the police services, municipalities, the police association, the provinces that are opposing the enforcement. And this is the reality. There's only 2 provinces really in Canada that will enforce the gun grab: Quebec and BC. If you see everything that's in red, those are all the provinces that will not enforce it. And you start to look, like you see, I don't know if you can see the numbers here, but you start to look even in Ottawa, like you look, Ottawa's right here. You look all the way to London, Ontario. Those numbers, you see the 2, the 10, the 3, the 12, the 19, the 2, the 11 in Quebec. Those are all police forces that are saying we're not going to enforce it. So this gives me, I was putting that together because I will make it. It is public, by the way, if you guys want to see what it is you want to add more, because there's an email form here that you can send me information to say this was not added or this is incorrect, because I did so much work that I added all the sources. So if you can see, I have source for every single entry in there. But it gives me hope. So if you guys want to see it, go to hold the line. Go. Was that? I manually.
Oh,
manually.
really? Wow.
It's all research, bro. I do a lot of research every day for this show, man. I keep my sources for everything. But if you guys want to see it, if you guys want to look at it, tell me what's wrong, tell me what's good. If there's something I need to change on there, because like I said, I always use black filters on my screen, so you don't really see, so it's easier on my eyes, like everything's darkened. But there's an email form that you can hit, but go to hold the line Canada.ca, and the trackers there help me make it better. I will start advertising it tomorrow so that people can actually take a look at this, because man, it's kind of good news when I was looking at it. So you guys let me know what you think.
That's cool.
But this kind of shows that as I finished building it, I was looking at it, I'm like, god damn, there's a lot of Canada that said no. There's a lot of provinces that said no. So you see that if people, this to me just represents that if people really understand what Bill C9 is, if people really understand what banning social media for people under the age of 16, what it actually means, it's possible that people can change. You know, we were talking with the girls last week about how women are involved in guns. They need to be more involved because they are the smallest demographic, but they are a very powerful one. It's all about education. It's all about letting people know that it's happening. So I will always beat the drum of free speech, whatever the consequences are. But I think I was looking at that tool and I'm like, man, this is kind of good news, because everywhere I was looking, people are saying, yeah, no, we're not enforcing it. Police forces, you're looking at 70 plus police forces They're saying, nope, municipal, provincial. They're like, nope, not happening. We're not doing it. So if people are aware of the problem, they understand what the problem is, people will stand up, and that's what you're seeing right there.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's nice to see that much. You know, I think the gun grab is, I don't support it. It's obviously more your issue than mine, but I just, you know, all the data I've seen, legal gun owners are not any sort of problem.
We're not the problem.
Yeah. So I don't see any point in wasting government resources, even if you don't give a shit about gun owners, right? Just look at it from a government inefficiency standpoint. You want your government to spend its resources on problems that are real and problems
100%.
that can be solved, not problems that aren't real with a solution that is not going to do anything to stop because almost any gun crime in Canada is committed by illegal guns smuggled in from the US. Right?
95% of the guns used in gun crime are illegal in nature. They were never legal. So they were either brought in, 90% of them were brought in.
And this law
won't
US. Touch that. It won't address that whatsoever. Because this is
only so you're basically not dealing with 95% of the problem.
Yeah. Even if you can make a dent and drop 10% of the gun crimes committed by legal gun owners, that's such a tiny fraction of a percent.
No, careful. The 95% is not saying that 5% of the people that are committing crimes are legal gun owners. That's not what it means.
Sorry, the guns
those 5% means, like one of the videos that the video we did with Randy last week, there's somebody that commented because Randy was saying that he was explaining that 95%, and he was saying that some people have been broken into. Their guns were stored
so it's
properly.
Not the gun owners, it's those guns that
the 5% represents maybe the gun owner, but more largely is people steal. So people would steal my guns.
Yes,
that are legally owned, legally stored.
And then use it.
Yes. Okay. But 95% of those were illegal. 90% of them come from the US. That other 5% don't have any legal background.
It's not gonna make any sort of dent in actual gun crime in Canada. And that's really what we're concerned with. We're concerned with actual gun crime, right? If it doesn't make any appreciable difference, like if all this work and you get a 0.1% drop in gun crime, that's not worth it. That's nothing.
No,
that's not even a drop in the bucket. There's no point to it. You shouldn't spend billions of dollars of government money on it.
No,
just not to mention the resources and manpower and police forces, right? How much is it going to cost to get them to, even most of them are saying they won't enforce it, like the RCMP will. The RCMP is committing real manpower to this. That costs money, right? Those are resources. So it's just not necessary.
And this is where you and I, although we differ on why we believe this is being done, to me, this is all in collaboration with Bill C9, C16, C63, the way that they want to censor us. They want to take your guns away because you can. I'm always thinking the First and Second Amendment in the US. Free speech is the most important right that we have. If you lose your free speech, you have the guns and the men to actually get it back. That's what the First and Second Amendment is. I see no difference in Canada. If you go after free speech and you're going after the guns at the same time, you're showing me what you're trying to do. But even if you don't think that's right, even if you don't think that what I'm saying is true, that I'm way too far the deep end, that's fine. Why is it that the government right now, so there's an article that came out in Caliber magazine, and we will have the owner of Caliber magazine joining us tomorrow to speak about this. I reached out to him. He's going to come on the show. But they released an article, I believe it was this week, that shows that the government has been spending $25,000 on every single firearm that has been registered through that ban. Through that software that they want, to that website, it's been costing $25,000 per acquired firearm or registered firearm. $1,800 is the average cost, or the average settlement, if you will, that gun owners are receiving per firearm. The rest, administration fees. $23,200 is the governmental cost to that firearm. It's insane. 93% of the money they've been spending on that ban is going directly to government workers and their bureaucracy. 93%. They've spent over $800 million already on this, as per the
That's
information that Caliber
Well, yeah,
magazine
I
could
mean-
find. And we're going to talk about that tomorrow. So 7:30 Eastern
Yeah,
time,
like
Monday,
as
tomorrow.
as Will says, government has no money, Rob. Well, that's why we shouldn't be spending it, because we are spending real money, and if we don't have it, then it's even.
You know,
it
if you
makes
don't
even less
believe,
sense.
if you don't believe that they're trying to disarm people in order to control us more, that's fine. You don't believe it? Okay, cool. Let's put that aside for a second. Why are they spending so much money on people that are not the problem?
Well, yeah.
As a
Like I
gun
said, just
owner,
oppose
I
it.
am not the person committing crimes. I'm not. Just the common sense aspect of it. Forget the conspiracy theory here. Why are we spending money on this if we're not the problem? 95% of the guns used in crimes were never legal. They're not from legal gun owners. Why are we
Yeah,
fighting the 5% on the 5, spending billions on the 5% when we should be spending billions on the 95% of people that commit the crimes and they're always let go? Because if you look, a lot of the criminals that we have, they're not the first time around.
No,
They are
always-
let go.
it's
They
always-
commit more crimes
always-
afterwards.
Yeah, yeah. So if nothing else, just oppose it from a government efficiency standpoint, right? You don't want your government
100%.
wasting money on a problem that doesn't actually exist. All right, guys, excellent show.
Let
tonight.
me take
Um,
let me take one
yes.
comment from Prairie. These are just city police that are saying they will not go after guns. Our CMP is still on board. The tool I
they always
developed
will.
but the RCMP, but that's not true, because the RCMP in Alberta said they wouldn't enforce it.
Oh, really? Okay. So they have
Yes.
provincial RCMP
So-
do have discretion.
So
Okay.
but the tool that I showed, it talks about city police, it talks about municipal police, it shows the associations of police. So let's say the association of commissioners for a bunch of regions said they wouldn't enforce it. That goes to it. It also talks about the provinces that either the premiers or the justice ministers said they wouldn't do it. It's literally 8 provinces in Canada. If you remove basically Quebec and BC are about the only provinces that said they'd go with it. But in Quebec, I wouldn't be surprised if that changes this year, because we do have an election and the people that are leading in the polls are separatists, just like in Alberta. They want to separate from Canada, and he's very pro-gun, as in he's not taking guns away from anybody. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see,
Yeah,
but
no-
hopefully that gives you guys a bit of faith after I fucking lost my shit for 55 minutes. Just saying.
Yeah, lots of moving parts. We'll wait and see what happens. Guest tomorrow should be cool. What is he again? Just briefly.
I will get you his name, because I've never met him before. I reached out because I saw the article. I have some connections, so I found somebody that knew him, got me his email address, and he's coming tomorrow. He is Daniel Fritter from Caliber Magazine is joining us
Okay.
at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow to speak about the article stipulating that the government's been spending $25,000 for every gun that is registered through that gun buyback. 25 grand.
Yep.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah, no, it should be cool. I'm
Yeah, man.
basically learning this as we go, so I enjoy these chats. All right, guys, excellent show tonight. Great start to the week. Hopefully, we'll catch you tomorrow for that interview. If you're just tuning in and you want to support the show, please consider becoming a member. You can do that through YouTube for the low price of $2.99 per month. You can also buy us a coffee, which you will see a QR code in the upper left-hand corner of your screen. And of course, another way to support the show, keep them back, throw those comments out there. Tonight was a good example. We did take quite a few comments. The show is heavily based on audience engagement participation. So you throw those comments out there and we will probably get to them, unless they suck, and then we won't. Other than that, folks, we'll catch you tomorrow night. Peace.
Peace.